Have you ever hurt someone while genuinely believing you were doing the right thing? Maybe you made a choice to protect your family, save a relationship, or escape a future you feared, and only later discovered that your decision caused the very damage you wanted to prevent. Greek tragedy gave that nightmare a name: Oedipus, a man who spent his life running from a terrible prophecy, only to learn that every step away from it had carried him closer. If stories like this make ancient myths feel personal, please like, share, and leave a comment. Your support gives gods and heroes Unveiled the motivation to keep exploring the gods, heroes, tragedies, and human choices that still feel painfully familiar thousands of years later. The child marked by a prophecy. Before Oedipus ever made a choice, fear had already made choices for him. King Laius and Queen Jocasta of Thebes received a prophecy that their son would one day kill his father. In the world of Greek tragedy, prophecy is not a vague horoscope. It is a sentence hanging over a family before the child can even speak. So the parents who should have protected their newborn decided that the safest future was one in which he did not survive. The infant was given away to be exposed on a mountainside. His feet were injured and bound, a wound that would remain connected with the name Oedipus. He was supposed to disappear before the prophecy had a chance to become real. But the child did not die. A shepherd spared him, and through a chain of hands he was taken away from Thebes and eventually raised in Corinth by King Polybus and Queen Merope. To Oedipus, they were not adoptive parents. They were simply his father and mother. They were the people whose home was his home, whose name gave him identity, and whose love gave him a place in the world. That matters because the tragedy does not begin with a wicked young man dreaming of murder. It begins with a young man who does not know who he is. His first inheritance is not guilt. It is hidden information. And hidden information changes the meaning of every choice that follows. Think about how often responsibility depends on what a person knew at the time. We judge someone differently if they ignored a danger they clearly understood than if the danger was deliberately concealed from them. Oedipus enters adulthood carrying a secret everyone important to the story knows except him. He does not know that Laius is his father. He does not know that Jocasta is his mother. He does not know that Thebes is the city of his birth. He does not even know that the life he is trying to protect is built on a false understanding of his own identity. And this is where the tragedy becomes uncomfortable. Because when people hide the truth to prevent disaster, they may believe they are protecting someone. But sometimes the secret becomes part of the disaster itself. The man who ran away to save his parents. As Oedipus grows older, a disturbing accusation reaches him. Perhaps Polybus and Merope are not really his parents. The doubt is unbearable. He wants certainty, so he seeks an answer from the oracle at Delphi. But the answer he receives is worse than the question he asked. He is told that he is destined to kill his father and marry his mother. Imagine hearing that while believing Polybus and Merope are your parents. What would a good son do? Oedipus does not return home and surrender to fate. He does not decide that prophecy gives him permission to become monstrous. He does the opposite. He leaves Corinth. He walks away from the only parents he has ever known because he believes distance is the only way to keep them safe. That decision is one of the most important details in the entire story. Oedipus is running because he loves them. He is trying not to become the man the oracle described. He gives up home, inheritance, security, and family in order to protect the people he believes are his mother and father. If the story ended there, we might call his choice noble. But tragedy asks a harder question. Can a good intention protect us from a terrible consequence? On the road away from Corinth, Oedipus meets an older nobleman traveling with attendants at a narrow crossroads. Neither man knows what the other means to him. The older man is Laius, king of Thebes. Oedipus is his abandoned son. A dispute over passage becomes violence. Pride, anger, and force take over. Oedipus kills Laius and most of the men traveling with him. He does not know he has killed his father, but he does know he has killed a man. That distinction is where the moral problem begins. Oedipus is innocent of intentional parricide. He never looked at Laius and thought, "This is my father, and I will fulfill the prophecy." Yet ignorance does not make the dead man alive again. The prophecy has moved closer to completion through an act Oedipus understood in one way and history will understand in another. The hero who saved Thebes. When Oedipus reaches Thebes, the city is suffering under the terror of the Sphinx. The creature destroys those who cannot answer its riddle. Fear has frozen the city, and the throne is empty because King Laius is dead. Oedipus does what heroes are supposed to do. He confronts the problem no one else can solve. He answers the Sphinx correctly. The threat ends. The people of Thebes see a stranger who has arrived at exactly the moment they need him. He is intelligent, courageous, decisive, and apparently favored by fortune. They reward him with the kingship. And with the throne comes marriage to the widowed queen, Jocasta. Again, Oedipus does not know. He does not know the dead king at the crossroads was Laius. He does not know Jocasta is his mother. He believes he has escaped Corinth, protected his parents, defeated a monster, and built a new life through his own ability. From the outside, his story looks like success. He has gone from exile to hero, from uncertainty to kingship, from a man running from fate to a ruler responsible for an entire city. And for years, the truth remains hidden beneath the life he has built. This is one reason Oedipus remains so powerful. Disaster does not always arrive looking like disaster. Sometimes the path toward catastrophe is rewarded at every step. You make the difficult decision. People praise you. You solve the problem. You succeed. You begin to believe the outcome proves that your choices were right. But success can only judge what is visible. It cannot reveal what you still do not know. The king who refused to stop searching. Years later, Thebes is struck by a devastating plague. The city that once celebrated Oedipus now comes to him for rescue again. And Oedipus responds as a responsible king should. He does not ignore the suffering. He does not hide behind the palace walls. He sends for answers and promises to find the cause. The message from the oracle is clear. The pollution surrounding the unsolved murder of King Laius must be confronted. So Oedipus begins an investigation. He is searching for the man who killed his father without knowing that he is searching for himself. The prophet Tiresias is brought before him. Tiresias resists speaking, because the truth he carries will destroy the king who demands it. Oedipus becomes angry. To him, silence looks like conspiracy. He has saved Thebes before. He believes action, intelligence, and relentless questioning can save it again. Finally, Tiresias tells him what he does not want to hear. Oedipus himself is the pollution he is hunting. Oedipus rejects the accusation. And why wouldn't he? From his perspective, it sounds impossible. He believes his father is Polybus in Corinth, alive far away. He believes his mother is Merope. He remembers killing strangers on the road, but he has no reason yet to connect that moment with the murdered king of Thebes. So he keeps investigating. This is the strange greatness of Oedipus. The same quality that helped him defeat the Sphinx now drives him toward his own destruction. He refuses comfortable ignorance. Jocasta begins to understand before he does. Details start connecting. The old prophecy, the place where Laius died, the age of the abandoned child, the wounds on Oedipus's feet. She begs him to stop asking questions. But Oedipus cannot stop. He believes the truth about his birth may be humiliating. Perhaps he was born to slaves or common people. He is prepared to lose status. He is not prepared for the truth he actually finds. When knowing the truth changes everything. A messenger arrives from Corinth with news that King Polybus has died. For a moment, this appears to prove the prophecy false. Oedipus did not kill Polybus. The father he feared murdering has died naturally, far away. Relief enters the story for only a moment. Then the messenger reveals something meant to comfort Oedipus. Polybus was not his biological father. The messenger had received Oedipus as an infant from another shepherd. Suddenly, the wall protecting Oedipus from the truth collapses. The final shepherd is found. He remembers the child from the house of Laius. He remembers the command to let the infant die. He remembers refusing to complete it. And Oedipus understands. The man he killed at the crossroads was his father. The woman he married was his mother. The children born from that marriage are also bound inside the same impossible family wound. The prophecy he spent his life trying to escape has already happened. Notice what does not happen in this moment. Oedipus does not suddenly remember a hidden desire to kill his father. He does not reveal that he secretly knew Jocasta was his mother. The horror comes precisely because he did not know. His intentions and his consequences now stand before him as two completely different stories. In one story, he left home to protect his parents. In another, he killed his father on that journey. In one story, he saved Thebes from the Sphinx. In another, that victory placed him on his father's throne and in his mother's marriage bed. In one story, he became king because he solved a mystery. In another, he becomes ruined because he refuses to stop solving one. The facts do not erase his motives. His motives do not erase the facts. That is the trap. Intentions are not consequences. Jocasta cannot survive the revelation. She takes her own life. Oedipus finds her and turns his horror against himself. He blinds himself with the pins from her clothing, choosing darkness after discovering what his eyes had failed to see. The act is brutal, but its meaning is not simply punishment. Throughout the play, Oedipus could physically see while remaining blind to the truth. Tiresias could not see with his eyes, yet understood what everyone else was trying not to know. Now Oedipus knows, and knowledge does not repair anything. This may be the hardest truth in the myth. Sometimes understanding why you caused harm comes after the harm can no longer be undone. You can discover that you were misinformed. You can discover that you were afraid. You can discover that someone lied to you. You can discover that you made the best decision you could with the information you had. All of those things can matter, but the person who was hurt may still be hurt. The relationship may still be gone. The consequence may still belong to your life. Modern conversations often force us into two simple positions. Either intention is everything. I didn't mean to hurt you, therefore I did nothing wrong. Or consequence is everything. You hurt me, therefore your motives do not matter at all. Oedipus refuses both simplifications. He is not a man who knowingly chose incest and parricide, but he is also not untouched by responsibility simply because he lacked crucial knowledge. He still chose violence at the crossroads. He still became furious when challenged. He still accused others when the truth threatened his identity. And yet the largest horrors of his life depended on facts deliberately hidden from him before he was old enough to choose anything. Responsibility in this story is not a single weight carried by one person. It is a chain. Laius and Jocasta act out of fear. The shepherd acts out of compassion. Oedipus acts out of love, anger, courage, pride, and ignorance. Each decision changes what becomes possible for the next person. By the time the truth is visible, no one can return to the first choice and begin again. Can you be guilty without meaning to be? So what do we do with Oedipus? If guilt means deliberately wanting to commit the terrible acts described by the prophecy, then Oedipus is not guilty in that simple sense. He spends much of his life trying to prevent them. But if responsibility includes facing what our actions actually did, then intention cannot be the entire answer. There is a difference between saying, "I meant to hurt you," and saying, "I hurt you." There is also a difference between saying, "I did not know," and saying, "Therefore nothing happened." Maturity may begin when we can hold both truths at once. I did not intend this. And this happened because of something I did. Those sentences can exist together. An apology becomes stronger when it does not demand that intention erase impact. Forgiveness becomes more meaningful when it does not require pretending the harm was imaginary. And accountability becomes more humane when it makes room for context without turning context into an excuse. Oedipus is extreme because tragedy magnifies ordinary human problems until we cannot look away. Most of us will never face a prophecy from Delphi, but many of us know what it feels like to make a choice with incomplete information. A parent controls a child because they believe they are protecting them, only to discover that fear damaged the relationship. A friend shares a secret because they think someone needs help, and the betrayal destroys trust. A manager makes the decision that seems necessary for the company, and someone else's life collapses because of it. A person ends a relationship believing it is best for both people, then realizes years later how deeply the other person was wounded. A family keeps a truth hidden because they think silence will protect the next generation, only to watch the secret create a different kind of pain. These are not the same as the crimes of Oedipus, but the emotional question is the same. What do we owe the consequences we never intended? The man after the answer. Oedipus begins the story as a man who believes every problem has an answer. The Sphinx has a riddle. He solves it. The plague has a cause. He investigates it. His birth has a mystery. He uncovers it. But the final truth is not a solution. It is something he must live with. That may be the final lesson hidden inside the tragedy. Knowledge gives us responsibility, but it does not always give us repair. Sometimes the most important thing we can do after causing harm is not prove that we were secretly innocent. It is to understand clearly, accept what cannot be changed, and decide what kind of person we will become after the truth arrives. Oedipus cannot return to the crossroads. He cannot become an infant again and tell the adults around him not to hide his identity. He cannot give Laius another life or Jocasta another ending. He cannot make intention and consequence become the same story. He can only stop running from what is true. And perhaps that is why his tragedy still survives. It is not only about fate. It is about the terrifying moment when the story we tell ourselves about who we are collides with the effects our actions have had on other people. Sometimes we are more innocent than the outcome makes us look. Sometimes we are more responsible than our intentions make us feel. Most human lives exist somewhere between those two truths. Oedipus asks us to stand there without looking away. If this story made you think differently about intention, guilt, or responsibility, please like, share, and leave a comment. And if there is any God, hero, tragedy, relationship, emotion, or question from the ancient world you want gods and heroes unveiled to explore next, tell us. When we hurt someone without meaning to, what matters more? What we intended, or what actually happened?